Thanksgiving dinner at Mom and Dad's house. The whole family there. 23 people crammed into a dining room built for 12. Brother Daniel, Sister Michelle, cousins, aunts, uncles. The usual cast of characters who showed up once a year to compare lives and offer unsolicited advice. We'd just finished eating. Turkey, stuffing, the works. Now everyone was scattered around with coffee and pie, that post-meal stupor settling in. Daniel stood up. Big smile on his face. The kind that said he had news and couldn't wait to share it. Hey everyone, got an announcement. Sarah and I closed on our house last week. The room erupted. Clapping, congratulations, the whole performance. He pulled out his phone, started showing photos. 3-bedroom suburban place. Nice lawn. 2-car garage. Beige siding that looked like every other house on the block. Finally building equity, he said, grinning at Dad. Not throwing money away on rent anymore. Dad nodded approvingly. Smart move. That's how you build wealth. Then Daniel's eyes landed on me. Still that smile, but something else underneath. Curiosity? Pity? What about you, Chris? Still in that downtown apartment? I sipped my coffee. Yeah. How long's it been now? 7 years? About that. Man. He shook his head. 7 years of rent. What's that running you, like $2,000 a month? Around that. I watched him do the math. Could see his brain working, calculating, preparing to deliver the punchline. That's $168,000. He said it slowly, let it hang in the air. Just gone, down the drain. A few people nodded. Sympathetic murmurs. Aunt Linda made a soft tisking sound. You should really think about buying something, Daniel continued. Even a small condo. Start somewhere. I can connect you with our realtor if you want. Great guy. Really helped us navigate the process. I'll think about it. Dad leaned forward. He's right, Chris. Renting at your age? You're 35. Time to start building real wealth. Mom added, Daniel's house is lovely. Maybe we can all help you find something. Michelle, my sister, chimed in from across the room. I've been telling you this for years. Renting is just lighting money on fire. I nodded. Stayed quiet. Let them have their moment. Daniel sat back down next to Sarah, still beaming. Proud of his purchase. Proud of his advice. Completely confident he was helping his older brother see the light. The conversation moved on. Someone asked about the interest rate. Sarah talked about their mortgage pre-approval process. Uncle Jim launched into a story about buying his first house in 1987. I finished my coffee. Made small talk with Cousin Beth about her new job. Helped clear some plates. Normal Thanksgiving things. An hour later, I was in the kitchen loading the dishwasher when Daniel found me. Hey, he said, leaning against the counter. I wasn't trying to embarrass you out there. You didn't. I just want to see you do well, you know. You've got a good job. You're responsible. You should be building something. I know. Renting. It's not really succeeding. It's just surviving. I hear you. So you'll think about it? Buying? I will. He patted my shoulder. Good. You've got potential, man. Just need to make smarter choices. I watched him walk away. Back to Sarah. Back to their conversation about paint colors and furniture placement. Around 9, I said my goodbyes. Hugged Mom. Thanked Dad for hosting. Congratulated Daniel one more time. Think about what I said, he called after me. That realtor's number's on my phone whenever you want it. Will do. I got in my car. A 6-year-old Honda Accord. Reliable, paid off, nothing flashy. The kind of car that made my family think I was being practical but probably struggling a bit. I drove home, past downtown, past the apartment building they all thought I still lived in. The one with the $2,000 monthly rent and the mediocre parking. I kept driving. To the north side. The quiet part. Where the lots got bigger and the houses sat behind gates and trees. I pulled into my driveway. Long, curved, lined with mature oaks. Punched in the gate code. Watched it swing open. Drove up to my house. The one I'd bought 3 years ago. 4 bedrooms. 3 bathrooms. Two-story modern design with floor-to-ceiling windows, hardwood floors throughout, marble countertops in the kitchen, a pool in the back. Paid in cash. 1.2 million. The house nobody in my family knew about. I parked in the garage. Three-car. Currently holding my Accord, my mountain bike, and a lot of empty space. Walked inside, kicked off my shoes, poured myself a bourbon, sat on my couch, real leather, not the fake stuff, and looked out at the city lights through the massive windows. $168,000 down the drain, Daniel had said. I'd almost laughed. 3 years ago, I'd made a decision. I was tired of my family treating me like I was struggling, like I needed their advice, their concern, their helpful suggestions about how to live my life. So I stopped telling them things. Got a promotion at work? Didn't mention it. Salary jumped to $280,000. Kept that to myself. Sold my downtown apartment for a decent profit? Never said a word. Bought this house? Complete silence. I let them think I was still in that apartment. Still paying rent. Still figuring things out. It started small. Mom asked about work one time, and I just said, "It's fine," instead of explaining the promotion. She nodded, moved on. Didn't press. That felt good. Not having to explain. Not having to hear, "Oh, about time," or "You should ask for more," or whatever backhanded congratulations she'd prepared. So I kept doing it. Kept information close. Gave vague answers, smiled, and nodded. They filled in the blanks themselves. Assumed I was doing okay, but not great. Making ends meet, but not getting ahead. And honestly, it was easier. No comparisons to Daniel's career. No suggestions about what I should do with my money. No lectures about investing or saving or planning for retirement. Just peace. The thing about my family is they mean well. They really do. But their version of helping always felt like judgment wrapped in concern. When I paid off my car 5 years ago, I made the mistake of mentioning it to Dad. Thought he'd be proud. Instead, "That's great, but you should have kept the loan and invested that money. Car loans are cheap, market returns are better." Not congratulations. Not good job being debt-free. Just immediate criticism disguised as financial advice. When I got my first big raise, I told Michelle. She immediately started talking about how I should be saving more, how I was probably wasting money on stupid things, how I needed to get serious about my future. I was 28 and had already been maxing out my 401k for 3 years. But she didn't know that. She just assumed. So I learned. Stopped sharing. Stopped giving them ammunition to judge my choices. And you know what? My stress levels dropped. Family dinners became bearable. I could sit through lectures about financial responsibility without feeling defensive because I knew the truth. I was doing fine. Better than fine. I just didn't need them to know it. The house had been the ultimate test of that strategy. 3 years ago, I'd been saving aggressively for nearly a decade, living in that downtown apartment, driving my old Accord, eating lunch from home, skipping expensive vacations, investing 60% of my income. Not because I was struggling, because I had a goal. And when I hit it, when I had enough for a house plus a solid emergency fund, I bought this place. Cash offer, no mortgage, no monthly payment except property taxes and utilities. Complete financial freedom. I'd thought about telling them, imagined their reactions, the surprise, maybe even pride. But then I played it forward, pictured the aftermath. Dad asking how much I made, Mom wanting to know why I'd kept secrets. Daniel probably feeling weird about his own purchase. Michelle analyzing my decision, finding flaws, suggesting I should have invested differently. Extended family wanting to visit, to see it, to compare their lives to mine. Exhausting. So I didn't tell anyone, just moved in quietly. Updated my address with the bank and the DMV. Kept my mouth shut at family gatherings. And it worked. For 3 years, it worked perfectly. Until tonight. Until Daniel's big announcement and his helpful calculation about my wasted rent money. I finished my bourbon, looked around my living room. The original artwork on the walls, the custom built-ins, the view of the city I'd worked 10 years to earn. $168,000 down the drain. If he only knew. I pulled out my phone, opened my investment app, checked my portfolio balance, the money I'd saved by not having a mortgage, the aggressive investments that had paid off. Then I closed it. Went upstairs to my primary suite, bedroom, bathroom, and walk-in closet bigger than my old apartment's entire square footage. Changed into comfortable clothes. Got ready for bed. Tomorrow, I'd go back to work. Back to my life. Back to letting everyone assume I was just getting by, and I'd be fine with that. Because the truth was mine. And they didn't need to know it. The next morning, I woke up and went for a run. 6 miles through the neighborhood, past other expensive houses, past people walking dogs that cost more than used cars. Nobody knew me here. I was just another resident. No assumptions, no judgments. When I got back, I made coffee in my kitchen. The one with the marble island and the high-end appliances I'd paid cash for. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Hey, was thinking about what we talked about yesterday. Seriously, let me know if you want that realtor's number. Never too late to start building equity. I stared at the message, considered responding, decided against it. Let him think he was helping. Around noon, Mom called. Hi, honey. Just wanted to check in after yesterday. Daniel told me he offered to help you find a place. That's so sweet of him. Yeah, he mentioned it. You should really take him up on it. He and Sarah have been so happy since buying. It's such a good investment. I'll think about it, Mom. Don't wait too long. Market's crazy right now. Longer you wait, harder it gets. I know. Okay, well, just wanted to say that. Love you. Love you too. She hung up. I stood in my kitchen. The one in my $1.2 million house that she'd never see. This was fine. This was sustainable. I could keep this up indefinitely. Right? 2 days later, everything changed. I was at work when my phone rang. Daniel. Hey, what's up? Quick question. Can you send me your address? Want to mail you something? I froze. What kind of something? A housewarming gift. Well, apartment warming. Sarah and I found this great book about real estate investing. Thought it might help you get started. A book. About real estate. For the guy who owned a house they didn't know about. That's okay. You don't need to. Already bought it. Just need your address. Unless it's still the same one I have? Actually, I don't live there anymore. Silence. What? I moved. A while ago. When? Where? Here it was. The moment. I could lie. Make up a story about another apartment. Keep the secret going. But something about his tone, genuine surprise, not judgment, made me pause. 3 years ago, I said. Northside. 3 years? Why didn't you say anything? Didn't really come up. Chris, we just had an entire conversation at Thanksgiving about you renting, about building equity, about... He stopped. Wait, you said Northside? Yeah. Did you buy a place? Yeah. Another silence. Longer this time. You bought a house 3 years ago and didn't tell anyone. Didn't seem necessary. Didn't seem... He laughed. Not a happy laugh. More like disbelief. Chris, I spent 10 minutes at Thanksgiving lecturing you about throwing money away on rent. You could have said something. You were excited about your house. Didn't want to make it weird. Make it... He stopped again. I could hear him breathing, processing. How much? How much what? How much did your house cost? I looked out my office window. Thought about lying, about downplaying, about making it seem more modest than it was. Decided I was done with that. 1.2 million, dead silence. Daniel, you're joking. I'm not. 1.2 million. You bought a $1.2 million house in cash. I didn't say cash. Did you? Yes. More silence. Then, I need to see this. Can I come over? Saturday? I almost said no. Almost made an excuse. But something stopped me. Maybe I was tired of the secret. Maybe I wanted someone to know. Maybe I just wanted to see his face. Sure, Saturday, 10 a.m. I texted him my address. Watched the 3 dots appear and disappear. Appear again. Finally. Holy shit. Just that. I put my phone down, went back to work. Saturday was going to be interesting. Saturday morning, 9:45 a.m. I'd cleaned the house. Not that it needed it. I kept the place pretty spotless. But nervous energy made me wipe down counters that were already clean. At 9:58, I saw headlights through the front windows. Daniel's SUV, a newer model, probably financed. The kind of car that looked impressive but came with a monthly payment. I opened the door before he could knock. He stood there on my front porch. Sarah next to him. Both staring. Not at me. Past me. At the entryway. The vaulted ceiling. The chandelier I'd installed last year. "This is the place?" Daniel asked. "This is it." "All of it?" "All of it." Sarah's mouth was slightly open. She recovered first. "Chris, this is... wow. Come in." They stepped inside. Slowly. Like they were entering a museum instead of a house. The entryway opened into the main living space. Open floor plan. Living room flowing into dining area flowing into kitchen. 18-foot ceilings. Those floor-to-ceiling windows showing the backyard and pool. Daniel stopped in the middle of the room. Did a slow 360, taking it all in. The custom built-ins I'd had installed. The real hardwood floors. The modern fireplace with the stone surround. The kitchen with marble countertops and high-end appliances. He walked to the windows. Looked out at the pool. The deck. The landscaped yard that backed up to a small wooded area. "You own this," he said. Not a question. A statement. Like he was trying to convince himself. "I own this." Sarah moved through the space with more confidence. Ran her hand along the kitchen island. "This marble is gorgeous. Carrara?" "Calicotta. Similar to Carrara but different veining." She looked at me differently then. Like she was recalculating who I was. Daniel sat down at the kitchen island. Put his head in his hands. Just sat there. "You okay?" I asked. "No, not really." Sarah kept exploring. Opened the pantry. "Oh my God, this pantry is bigger than our kitchen." "It's pretty big," I admitted. "Pretty big? Chris, this is..." She stopped. Looked at Daniel. Back to me. "How did you afford this? Want the long version or the short version?" "Long." I pulled out 2 stools. They sat. I stayed standing, leaning against the counter. 10 years ago, I made a plan. I was 25, making about $75,000 a year. Not bad, but not great. I looked at where I wanted to be at 35, and I didn't like the math. So I got serious, lived way below my means. That downtown apartment? $2,000 a month like Daniel calculated, but I was making more than people thought. How much more? By year 3, I was at $150,000. By year 5, $200,000. By year 8, $280,000. Sarah's eyes widened. "What do you do?" "Software architecture, enterprise systems. Companies pay well for people who can build secure, scalable infrastructure." Daniel looked up. "You make $280,000 a year?" "Now I make $340,000. Got promoted 6 months ago. Didn't mention it." He put his head back in his hands. "Anyway," I continued, "I saved 60% of my income. Every raise, every bonus, straight into investments. Index funds mostly. Some individual stocks. Watched it compound. For 10 years? For 10 years, no new cars, no fancy vacations, no eating out much, just focused." Sarah was doing math in her head. That's a lot of savings. About $850,000 by the time I started house hunting. This place was listed at $1.3 million. I offered $1.2 million cash, closed in 3 weeks. "In cash," Daniel repeated. "You paid $1.2 million in cash. Had to. Wanted no mortgage. No monthly payment except property taxes and utilities." "What are property taxes on a place like this?" "About $18,000 a year." $18,000. Daniel stopped, shook his head. "That's still less than my mortgage payment." We sat in silence for a minute. "Can we see the rest?" Sarah asked quietly. "Sure." I gave them the tour. Started with the main floor. Showed them the office, set up with dual monitors, standing desk, the works. The powder room with the fancy fixtures. The laundry room that was bigger than most bedrooms. Then upstairs. 3 guest bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The primary suite. Sarah gasped when she saw it. The bedroom was massive. King bed, sitting area. Another set of those floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the backyard. Your closet, she said, walking toward it. I opened the door. Walk-in closet. Custom built-ins. Probably 15 feet by 15 feet. This is bigger than our first apartment, Daniel said. The bathroom was the real showstopper. Dual vanities, soaking tub, separate glass shower with rain head and body jets, heated floors. I feel like I'm in a hotel, Sarah murmured. We went back downstairs, out to the backyard. The pool was heated, maintained year-round. The deck had a built-in grill, seating area, fire pit. Daniel walked to the edge of the property, looked at the trees, the privacy, the space. We paid $350,000 for our house, he said. Put down $70,000. Borrowed the rest. We have a $2,400 monthly mortgage, plus HOA fees, plus maintenance. Your house is nice. Our house is a starter home. He gestured around. This is where people end up after 20 years of career growth and smart investing, not at 35. Different choices lead to different outcomes. He turned to face me. Were you going to tell us? Ever? Honestly? Probably not. Why? I thought about how to explain it. How to make him understand without sounding like I was attacking him. Every time I did well, someone had a comment. Remember when I got promoted 5 years ago? Vaguely. I mentioned it to Dad. He said, about time. You've been there long enough. Not congratulations. Not, I'm proud of you. Just, about time. Daniel looked uncomfortable. When I paid off my car, Mom said I should have kept the loan and invested the money instead. When I got a bonus, Michelle told me I should be saving more. They were trying to help. They were giving advice I didn't ask for, treating every win like it wasn't enough, like I was always one step behind where I should be. Sarah nodded slowly. That must have been frustrating. It was exhausting, so I stopped sharing, stopped giving them information to judge. And just let us all think you were struggling? I wasn't struggling. You just assumed I was. Daniel sat down on one of the deck chairs, stared at the pool. I lectured you, at Thanksgiving, in front of everyone, about throwing money away on rent. You did. I calculated how much you'd wasted, made you sound irresponsible. Yep. Why didn't you say something? Because you were excited about your house. You just closed. You were proud. I didn't want to make it about me. So you just took it? I've had practice. He looked at me. Really looked at me. I'm sorry. For what? For assuming, for lecturing, for treating you like you didn't know what you were doing. You thought you were helping. I was being condescending, and I had no idea what I was talking about. Sarah walked over, sat next to him. Chris, this is incredible. What you've built. The discipline it must have taken. Thank you. But I have a question. Okay. Why show us? Why tell Daniel at all? I'd been thinking about that since Tuesday, since the phone call that started this whole thing. Because he asked for my address. I could have lied, given him a fake one, but I was tired of lying. Were you lying, though? Daniel asked. Or just not correcting assumptions? Does it matter? Yeah, I think it does. I sat down on another chair, looked at my house, my pool, my carefully constructed life. I wasn't lying, but I was definitely hiding, and I'm not sure there's a meaningful difference. We sat there for a while. 3 people processing different things. Finally, Sarah spoke. Are you going to tell the rest of the family? No. Why not? Because then it becomes a thing. Dad will want to know exactly how I afforded it. Mom will ask why I didn't tell her. Michelle will find something to criticize. Cousins will want to visit. Everyone will have opinions about my choices. They're going to find out eventually, Daniel said. Maybe, but not from me. What if someone drives by, sees your address on mail, looks it up? Then I'll deal with it then. But I'm not going to announce it. No Facebook posts. No casual mentions at dinner. Nothing. Sarah looked at Daniel. Some silent communication passed between them. We can't tell anyone? She asked. I'd prefer you didn't. Not even your parents? Especially not my parents. Daniel stood up, walked back toward the house, stopped at the door. You really want us to just keep this secret? Sit at family dinners and listen to people give you financial advice? Watch them assume you're barely getting by? Yes. For how long? As long as I want. He shook his head. I don't even know what that is. Genius? Insane? It's peaceful. Sarah joined him at the door, looked back at me. Your family loves you, you know. They'd be proud of this. Maybe, but they'd also make it weird. And I don't want weird. I want quiet. We went back inside. They gathered their things, prepared to leave. At the door, Daniel turned. I won't tell anyone, I promise, but Chris? Yeah? You're doing better than all of us. Way better. And we have no idea. That's kind of the point. Is it lonely? That stopped me. Was it lonely? Sometimes, I admitted, but it's better than the alternative. They left. I watched from the window as they got in their SUV, saw them sit there for a minute, talking, not moving. Finally, Daniel backed out, down the long driveway, through the gate, gone. I stood in my entryway, my beautiful, expensive, secret entryway. Wondered if I'd made a mistake showing them. Wondered if the secret was about to get a lot harder to keep. My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. Thank you for showing us. I mean it. Your secret is safe with me. Then another text. This one from Sarah. Your house is beautiful. You should be proud. And don't worry, we won't say anything. I saved both messages, just in case. Then I went to the kitchen, made lunch, ate it at my marble island, alone with my secret. But somehow, sharing it with two people made it feel less heavy. Or maybe that was just hope talking. Either way, life was about to get more complicated. 2 weeks after the house visit, Daniel called me. Hey, can I ask you something? Sure. How do you do it? Do what? Just sit there, while everyone gives you advice, makes assumptions, acts like you're the one who needs help. I was at my desk, working from home, looking out at my backyard through those floor-to-ceiling windows. Practice, I said. That's it? Just practice? Pretty much. You let it wash over you. Remember that their opinions don't change your reality. He was quiet for a moment. It's harder than I thought. Keeping this quiet. Having second thoughts about the promise? No, I won't tell anyone. I just didn't realize how much energy it takes, knowing what I know. Welcome to the last 3 years of my life. He laughed. Not a happy laugh. Yeah, I'm starting to get it. You want out? I can release you from the promise. No, I gave you my word. It's weird. I know. We talked for a few more minutes. Hung up. I went back to work. But something about that conversation stuck with me. The way Daniel sounded. Strained. Like carrying my secret was heavier than he'd expected. I wondered if I'd made a mistake. 3 weeks later, Mom called about Sunday dinner. Just immediate family this time. You, Daniel, Michelle. Dad's making his famous ribs. Sounds good. Oh, and bring something to share. Maybe a side dish? Will do. Sunday came. I showed up with a store-bought potato salad. The cheap kind. The kind that said, I'm doing okay but not spending money frivolously. Daniel and Sarah were already there. He looked up when I walked in. Some expression I couldn't quite read. We sat down to eat. Dad served the ribs. Mom passed around sides. So, Chris, Dad said, cutting into his food. Any progress on the house hunt? I took a bite, chewed, swallowed. Not yet, still looking. Market's crazy right now, Michelle said. You really should have bought 2 years ago. Prices are insane. I know. What's your budget? Mom asked. Daniel's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. I saw it. Saw him freeze for just a second. Haven't really set one yet, I said. Well, you should. Can't look seriously without knowing your range. What can you afford monthly? I shrugged. Depends on the place. Have you talked to a mortgage broker? Dad asked. Daniel can recommend his. Great rates. I'll think about it. Sarah coughed, reached for her water, took a long drink. Daniel put his fork down. Actually, maybe we should talk about something else. Chris probably doesn't want to discuss finances at dinner. Michelle laughed. Since when are you protective of Chris? I'm not protective. I just think, it's fine, I interrupted. No big deal. Mom patted my hand. We're just trying to help, honey. You're 35. It's time to start building something real. Something real. I looked around the table, at my family. All of them assuming. None of them knowing. I appreciate the concern, I said. The conversation moved on. Daniel stayed quiet for most of dinner. Answered questions when asked, but didn't volunteer much. Sarah kept glancing at me. Then at Daniel. Some wordless communication happening. After dinner, I helped clean up. Daniel joined me in the kitchen. That was brutal, he said quietly. That was normal. How do you stand it? I remember that they don't know any better. They think they're helping. He loaded plates into the dishwasher. Mom literally told you to start building something real, while you own a $1.2 million house. Ironic, right? It's insane. I almost said something, 3 times. But you didn't. No, but it took everything I had. Sarah came in, looked around, made sure we were alone. I almost blew it, she whispered. When your mom asked about your budget, I almost laughed, had to fake a coughing fit. I noticed. This is harder than I thought, she said. Sitting there, listening to them, knowing what we know. You can tell them, I offered. Both of you, if it's too much. Daniel shook his head. No, I gave you my word. Just maybe warn me next time there's going to be a family dinner. Let me prepare mentally. There's always going to be family dinners. Great, something to look forward to. We went back to the living room, stayed for another hour, made small talk, avoided any more financial discussions. When I left, Mom hugged me. Think about what we said, about buying. You deserve a real home. I drove back to my real home, the one she'd never see, pulled into my 3-car garage, walked through my house, poured bourbon in my kitchen with the marble counters, sat in my living room and wondered how long this could last. A month passed, then another. Daniel and I talked occasionally. He'd call with questions about investing, about my career path, about how I'd stayed disciplined for so long, never about telling the family. That topic was closed. But I could tell it was weighing on him. In the pauses during conversations. In the way he'd sigh before answering my questions. Then came Michelle's birthday party. Early November. Her place. Everyone there again. Extended family this time. Cousins, aunts, uncles. I showed up with a birthday card and a gift card. Modest. Expected. Uncle Jim cornered me by the snack table. Chris, how's life? Still downtown? Still there. You know, you really should think about buying. I've got a buddy in real estate. Could hook you up. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. You're not getting any younger. Need to start thinking about equity, building wealth. You're right. He walked away satisfied. Another family member who'd given me helpful advice. I turned around. Daniel was standing there, staring at me. How? He asked. How what? How do you just take it over and over? Lots of practice. Uncle Jim just told you you're not getting any younger, implied you're being irresponsible, and you just agreed with him. What else would I do? Tell him the truth. Tell him you own a house worth more than his entire net worth. People were starting to look. I touched Daniel's arm. Let's go outside. We went to Michelle's backyard. Empty. Cold. You okay? I asked. No, I'm not okay. This is making me crazy. Then tell them. Seriously. I release you from the promise. It's not about the promise anymore. It's about... He stopped, ran his hands through his hair. It's about watching them treat you like you don't have your shit together. When you have your shit together better than anyone I know. That's nice of you to say. I'm not being nice. I'm being honest. You've built something incredible, and they have no idea, and it's driving me insane that I can't tell them. Why would you want to tell them? Because they should know. They should know how wrong they are. I leaned against the fence. Daniel, let me ask you something. What happens if they find out? They'd be impressed, proud. Would they? Or would they ask why I didn't tell them? Why I let them believe I was struggling? Why I didn't ask for their input or advice? He opened his mouth, closed it. They'd make it about them, I continued. About how I didn't trust them, how I excluded them. They'd find a way to be hurt or offended. That's cynical. That's realistic. I know my family. We stood in silence for a minute. Could hear the party inside. Laughter, conversations. I bought my house for $350,000, Daniel said quietly. I was so proud. It felt like this huge accomplishment. It is an accomplishment. But then I saw your house, and suddenly mine felt small, inadequate, like I hadn't really made it. That's not fair to yourself. Isn't it? We make similar money, Chris. I'm at $180,000. You're at $340,000. Not that different in the grand scheme. Pretty different. But the gap isn't just income. It's choices. You saved 60% of everything. I saved maybe 20%. You lived below your means. I lived at my means. You built wealth. I built debt. You built a life with Sarah, a home. That has value. Does it? Because right now it feels like I just bought an expensive cage, while you bought freedom. That hit different. I didn't know what to say to that. I'm not resentful, he added quickly. I'm just processing, realizing that I thought I was doing well, but I was just doing okay. Okay is fine. Is it? We went back inside. The party continued. More small talk, more assumptions about my life. I watched Daniel watch me, saw the struggle on his face every time someone gave me advice. Around 9, I left. Hugged Michelle. Congratulated her again. Daniel walked me to my car. I'm sorry, he said, for making this about me. This is your life, your choice. I need to respect that. You're fine. I'm not, but I will be. Just need to adjust my thinking. Take your time. He stood there in the cold. Can I ask you something? Sure. Are you happy with the secret, with the isolation, with all of it? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I'm content. Maybe that's not the same as happy, but it's peaceful. And I'll take peace over chaos any day. He nodded. Fair enough. I drove home. To my peaceful, secret life. But Daniel's question stuck with me. Was I happy? Or just comfortable in my hiding? December came. Christmas shopping, holiday parties at work, the usual end-of-year chaos. Daniel and I texted occasionally. Lighter conversations. He seemed to be adjusting, learning to live with what he knew. Then, 2 weeks before Christmas, Sarah called. Chris, it's Sarah. Do you have a minute? Sure, what's up? I need to tell you something, and you're probably not going to like it. My stomach dropped. What happened? I almost told my sister about your house. Almost? We were having wine, talking about Daniel's weird mood lately. She asked if everything was okay with us, and I almost said, we're fine. We're just dealing with the fact that Chris has a $1.2 million house and we can't tell anyone. But you didn't? I caught myself, changed the subject. But Chris, it was close, really close. I sat down. Okay. I'm telling you because you deserve to know. This secret, it's heavier than I expected, and I'm worried I'm going to slip. Do you want to tell people? No, I gave you my word. But the weight of it, I didn't understand what you've been carrying all this time. Neither did I, apparently. I'd gotten so used to it that I'd forgotten how heavy it was. Thank you for telling me, I said. I won't slip again. I'm being more careful, but I thought you should know it's getting harder. After we hung up, I sat in my house, my beautiful, expensive, secret house, and wondered if keeping it hidden was worth what it was costing. Not just me, but the people who knew. Maybe Daniel was right. Maybe this was making me crazy. Or maybe I'd been crazy all along. 6 months later, late June. Dad's retirement party. Backyard barbecue at their house. The whole family invited. I showed up in my Accord. Still driving it. Still reliable. Still sending the message I wanted to send. Daniel and Sarah were already there. We nodded at each other. Silent acknowledgement of the secret we shared. The party was in full swing. Dad holding court by the grill. Mom managing logistics. Michelle coordinating the gift presentation. I grabbed a beer. Found a quiet corner. Watched my family interact. Uncle Jim found me within 10 minutes. Chris, how's the apartment hunt going? Not house hunt. Apartment hunt. Somehow I'd been downgraded in the family narrative. Still looking, I said. You know, at your age, you should really consider buying. Even a small condo. Get your foot in the door. That's good advice. My buddy's still in real estate if you need a referral. Good guy. Won't steer you wrong. I'll keep that in mind. He walked away satisfied. Another piece of wisdom dispensed. Daniel appeared next to me. I hate him. You don't hate Uncle Jim. I hate that he does that. Treats you like you need basic life advice. He means well. That doesn't make it less condescending. We stood there drinking our beers, watching the party. How's Sarah? I asked. Good, better. She's been journaling. Says it helps to write down the thoughts she can't say out loud. That's healthy. We're both seeing a therapist, separately, to deal with the stress of keeping secrets. I looked at him. Seriously? Well, not just this secret, other stuff too. But yeah, this comes up. The weight of knowing something this big and not being able to share it. I'm sorry. Don't be. It's not your fault. You didn't ask us to carry it. We chose to. Mom called everyone over for the gift presentation. We gathered around as Dad opened cards and presents. A new golf club. Gift cards. A watch from Mom. Then Michelle stood up. I have something special, from all of us kids. She pulled out an envelope, handed it to Dad. We pooled our money, booked you and Mom a cruise. 2 weeks in the Mediterranean. You've always wanted to go. Dad's eyes lit up. You didn't have to do this. We wanted to. You've worked hard. You deserve it. Mom was crying. Dad was beaming. Everyone was clapping. I clapped too. Had contributed my share. $2,000. Significant, but not suspicious. Daniel leaned over. You could have funded the whole cruise and not blinked. But then I'd have to explain why I have that kind of money. Yeah, wouldn't want that. After the gift presentation, I helped clean up. Carried plates to the kitchen, scraped leftovers into the trash. Dad found me at the sink. Thanks for coming, Chris, and for contributing to the cruise. Of course. Your mother and I worry about you, you know. I know. Still in that apartment, still driving that old car. We just want to see you settled. I dried my hands, turned to face him. Dad, can I ask you something? Sure. What would settled look like to you? He thought about it. I don't know. A house, a wife, kids maybe, the traditional stuff. And if I had some of that but not all of it, would that count as settled? I guess it depends on which parts. I nodded. That's what I thought. He looked confused. Everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Later, I found myself in the backyard, away from the party, standing by Mom's garden. Sarah joined me. You okay? She asked. Thinking. About? Whether this is sustainable, the hiding, the secret. What brought this on? Just watching everyone today. Seeing how they interact with me. Realizing it's been 3.5 years of this. Do you want to tell them? I don't know. Part of me does. Part of me likes the peace too much. She was quiet for a moment. Can I tell you something? Sure. Daniel's been different since he found out about your house, your success. He's more driven, focused. He started tracking his spending, increased his 401k contribution, even sold his boat. He had a boat? For like 2 months. Impulse buy. Your house made him realize he wasn't being intentional with his money. That's good, I think. It is good, but it's also hard, because he can't talk about why he changed, can't explain what inspired him. He just has to be different without context. I never meant to make things harder for you guys. I know, and we chose this. But Chris, secrets have a cost, even when they're justified. I drove home that night thinking about what she'd said. Secrets have a cost. I'd known that intellectually, but I'd underestimated the price. 2 weeks later, Daniel called. I need to talk to you about something. Okay. Can I come over? Sure, when? Now? He showed up 20 minutes later, looked stressed. We sat on my back deck, overlooked the pool. I can't do this anymore, he said. Can't do what? Keep your secret. It's eating me alive. My stomach dropped. Okay. I'm not going to tell them. I promised and I keep my promises. But I need you to understand what this is doing to me. Tell me. Every family gathering, I watch them underestimate you, treat you like you need help, and I have to bite my tongue. Every time Sarah and I talk about money, your house comes up. What you built, how you did it, and we can't discuss it with anyone else. I'm sorry. I don't want sorry. I want you to understand that this isn't just your secret anymore. It's mine too, and Sarah's, and it's changing us. I'd never seen him like this, raw, honest. What do you want me to do? I asked. I don't know, maybe nothing. Maybe just acknowledge that keeping this quiet isn't free. I acknowledge it. Do you? Because sometimes it feels like you're so comfortable in your hiding that you've forgotten what it costs other people. That stung, because he was right. You're right, I said. I got so used to protecting my privacy that I didn't consider what I was asking of you. So what do we do? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I'll tell them, I said. What? I'll tell the family, about the house, about everything. You don't have to do that for me. I'm not doing it just for you. I'm doing it because maybe I'm tired too. Of the hiding. Of the performance. When? Not sure yet. But soon. He looked relieved. And terrified. They're going to lose their minds. Probably. Are you ready for that? No. But I don't think I'll ever be ready. So I might as well do it anyway. We sat there for a while, just sitting, processing. Thank you, he said finally. For what? For considering this. For hearing me. You're my brother. That's what brothers do. He smiled. First genuine smile I'd seen from him in months. 3 weeks later. Sunday dinner. Just immediate family again. I'd asked Mom if I could host this time. She'd been surprised but agreed. Your apartment is so small, though. Where will we all sit? I've got it figured out, I said. Okay, honey, we'll be there. Sunday arrived. They all pulled up to my gate. I watched on the security camera as they stopped, looked at each other, punched in the code I'd sent them, drove through, up the long driveway, parked in front of my house. I opened the door before they could knock. Mom spoke first. Chris, do you work here? No, I live here. What? Come in, I'll explain everything. They came inside, slowly. Like Daniel and Sarah had 6 months ago. Same shocked faces, same disbelief. Dad looked around. I don't understand. I bought this house 3.5 years ago. I've been living here ever since. But you said you were still in your apartment. No, you assumed I was still in my apartment. I just didn't correct you. Michelle walked through the space, touching things, testing if they were real. How did you afford this? So I told them. The whole story. The 10 years of saving, the discipline, the career growth they didn't know about, the investments, the choices. Mom sat down at my kitchen island. Same spot Daniel had sat, head in her hands. Why didn't you tell us? Because every time I shared good news, someone had advice, criticism, something to say that made my wins feel smaller. We were trying to help. I know, but it didn't feel like help. It felt like judgment. Dad walked to the windows, looked out at the pool. This is really yours. This is really mine. We've been giving you advice for years about buying, about building equity, about... He stopped, turned around. We must have sounded like idiots. You sounded like parents who cared, who wanted what they thought was best. But we didn't know what you'd already accomplished. Because I didn't tell you. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Michelle spoke. I'm angry. I understand. No, I don't think you do. We're family. You don't keep secrets like this from family. Why not? You keep secrets. Everyone does. Not like this. Not about something this big. Maybe that's exactly why I kept it. Because I knew it would become a thing. Like it's becoming right now. Mom looked up, tears in her eyes. Did you not trust us? That was the question I'd been dreading. I trusted you to love me, I said carefully. I didn't trust you to let me have this without making it complicated. That's not fair. Isn't it? Dad, what's the first thing you did when you saw this place? He thought about it. I asked how you afforded it. Right. Not, I'm proud of you. Not, this is amazing. Just immediately questioning the finances. He looked uncomfortable. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, I continued. I'm trying to explain why I made this choice. I needed space, privacy, room to build something without everyone's opinions. So you just excluded us, Mom said. I protected myself. We sat with that for a while. Finally, Dad spoke. Can we see the rest? I gave them the tour. Same route, same rooms, same reactions. When we got back to the kitchen, Mom hugged me, tight, long. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I should have said that first. I'm so proud. That broke something in me, something I'd been holding for 3.5 years. Thanks, Mom. We ordered pizza, ate it at my marble island, talked about everything I'd hidden. They asked questions, some hurt, some didn't. Daniel and Sarah arrived halfway through. I told them to come late. Give me time with the parents and Michelle first. You told them, Daniel said, smiling. I told them. How'd it go? About how I expected. Shock, hurt, questions. But we're working through it. Good, that's good. As the night wound down, we sat in my living room. All of us. Looking out at the city lights. Are you going to post about this? Michelle asked. Facebook? Instagram? No, this is still private. Just known to you now instead of hidden. That's fair. They left around 10. Hugs at the door. Promises to talk more. To process. To adjust. Mom was the last to leave. Stopped at the door. I'm sorry we made you feel like you had to hide. You didn't make me. I chose to. But we created an environment where that felt necessary. And that's on us. Maybe we're both right, she smiled. Maybe. After they left, I stood in my entryway. My secret was out. Partially, anyway. Just family. Not the world. Daniel texted, You did good. Proud of you. I sat down on my couch, looked around my house. It felt different now. Not worse. Not better. Just different. Like I'd been living in a beautiful cage, and I'd finally opened the door. Didn't mean I was leaving. Just meant I could. And that made all the difference. 3 months later, at Thanksgiving, Uncle Jim cornered me again. Chris, how's the apartment search? Actually, I bought a house a few years ago. Really? Where? North Side. Nice, what did you pay? I smiled. Enough? He laughed, walked away, didn't push. I caught Daniel's eye across the room. He raised his glass. I raised mine back. The secret wasn't a secret anymore, not completely. But I'd learned something important. Privacy isn't about hiding. It's about choosing what to share and when. I'd shared on my terms. in my time, with the people who mattered. And that felt right. I still didn't post about the house online. Still drove my old Accord. Still lived quietly. But now, when family gathered, there was truth between us. Not full transparency, but truth. And maybe that was enough. Dad pulled me aside before dinner. Thank you. For what? For trusting us. Eventually. I know it wasn't easy. It wasn't. I'm still processing it. We all are. But I'm proud of what you built. Not just the house, the discipline, the focus, the life. Thanks, Dad. We stood there for a moment. Then he hugged me. Quick, awkward, very dad, but genuine. And that was worth more than the whole house combined. Later, sitting around the table, someone asked about my career. I told them. Didn't hide the salary, didn't downplay the success. Michelle whistled. $340,000. Jesus, Chris. Plus bonuses. Show off, she said, smiling. Everyone laughed, including me. It was different, but good different. I'd lost the peace of complete privacy, but I'd gained something else. Connection. Real connection. Based on truth instead of assumptions. Was it worth it? I looked around the table. At my family. Imperfect. Complicated. But mine. Yeah, it was worth it. Not every secret needs to be revealed. But some do. And knowing the difference? That's the real trick. I still owned my $1.2 million house. Still lived there alone. Still valued my privacy. But now, when someone asked how I was doing, I could tell them the truth. And that felt like freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind you buy, the kind you build. One honest conversation at a time.